Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I don't know what time it is where you are, but right now it is time for more insight. This is insight you can trust because there is more where it came from. I am your host, Chris Moore, and you're probably wondering who is this young lady that is on the screen with me. This is Sylvia The Siren, who is just not talking about wrestling. She lives it. She's living in the heartbeat of wrestling. She is one of the voices of excuse me. She is one of the voices of Beyond the Veil podcast. She brings a perspective that blends fandom, culture, and real conversation in a way that feels authentic, but it also feels necessary. She represents a new era of wrestling media, not just celebrities. You know what I mean? These are people who are in the trenches. This is your grassroots level of content creators, and this is a space that we can feel safe. And we don't have to be taboo about the thing that we all love, which is wrestling. So today, she's coming through the ropes. She's stepping into the ring. We're tapped in with more insight. Sylvia The Siren is in the building. How you doing, Sylvia?
I'm doing well, Chris. Oh, that was amazing intro. Thank you so much for that. Seriously, I'm doing well. Just coming back from Vegas for WrestleMania weekend, which was so fun, and met a lot of people, met a lot of superstars. So yeah, I'm excited. Had to catch up on rest, but I'm excited to be back. Getting back into content, coming up with content ideas. So yeah, it's been fun. A little tired, but I'm good.
Hey, I know that West Coast was beating y'all up. I mean, you probably had the sun. Not to mention, WrestleMania isn't just Saturday and Sunday. What day did you get there?
So we actually got there Thursday night, like around 11 p.m. We got there Thursday night and then hit the hotel like around midnight. Yeah. But it wasn't a bad travel, but it was like a real busy travel because everybody was going to Vegas. Like even if they weren't going to WrestleMania weekend, they were going to Vegas. So it was pretty packed. My flight there and back was pretty packed.
Absolutely. So let's just start there. Let's talk about WrestleMania 42. There's a lot of discourse online.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? How am I going to do this? Tell you what, let me tap into a conversation about you first, and then I'll go into WrestleMania. Talk to me about how did you get into the wrestling content space? What pulled you in? What was it?
Okay, so I actually became a wrestling fan when I love the Attitude Era. Stone Cold Steve Austin is my GOAT. My grandma used to watch wrestling, and I had family members that used to watch wrestling too. So what got me back into wrestling was actually 2013, which was Total Divas, the Divas era, which is, probably like everybody's like main thing on how they tapped into women's wrestling, which was the Divas era. I was so in love with Natty and Naomi, and I love Total Divas. I was obsessed with it. After watching Total Divas, I took a little break because I got into the corporate world after I graduated college in 2013. So I took a little break. My husband is actually the one that got me back into wrestling in 2017. So it was like he had to give me a whole refresher of everything. So I was just like asking him so many questions as like a journalist. I was like, so who's this? Who's that? So what made him turn this heel? What made him go babyface? I just was asking him a whole bunch of questions to the point he was like, okay, I need you to watch this, that, and the third. So like I just got obsessed in it, refreshed my memory back. And then it was that ever since, because my background, I went to college for business, but actually I did not use my business degree. I actually went into media, which I was a radio personality on an urban hip hop station. I was the midday girl. So that we only tapped into like rappers, music, top 40, this and that and the third. Nobody really knew that like I was a fan of wrestling. I always kept it to myself because like it was like kind of, it's like it's not normal. It's not normal like niche to like, but yeah, I've always liked wrestling, and yeah, that's pretty much how it started. And then, once I had got furloughed from the radio station, COVID came and wrestling saved my life. I'd tell you that now. Like I was watching the Thunderdome. I was watching every episode every day. I was going back and watching old matches from the Attitude Era, from also the early 2000s. So I was just getting myself familiarized to get back into the knowledge of what wrestling is really about. And Yeah, that was it. Going to shows, every show that came to Charlotte, North Carolina, because that's where I'm at right now. So I was going to like every show. I was going to every show, me and my husband. And then one day I just told him, I was just like, man, I really want to like, do content like when it comes to like wrestling because I was so passionate about it. And I was just like, I always kept talking about it. They was like, dang, be quiet. You know too much, man. You know too much, man. So I was like, you know what? I think I want to tap in. And I just got to give my husband a lot of praise when it comes to that because he set up this whole platform for me. He was like, okay, if you're not going to go back to radio, we need to do something. And I was like, I already did radio for 10 years as far as like the hip hop, the music. I need something different that's going to differentiate myself. And I need to do something that's going to be my passion and I'm going to have fun with. And that was wrestling for sure.
Oh, I love it. Oh, so the Philadelphia 76ers, a long time ago, they had a saying, trust the process.
Yeah.
And I remember my pastor at one point in time said, the results are always worth the process. So I'm big on process. I'm big on journeys. And to hear how you came into wrestling is amazing. Real quickly, Bianca Belair actually got me back into wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Between her and Roman, when I saw the shift change with Roman, those are the two that brought me back to wrestling because for a while I was just I'm just going to watch WrestleMania, and then
Right.
what I would go to Bleacher Report and look at their report card every week on how the show went, just so I can make sure I kept up with the storylines.
Yes.
At that point, like it didn't pull me in. I was like big into sports. I was single at the time,
Yeah.
like so wrestling wasn't on my mind like it is now.
Yeah.
Ask you this: you're a black woman.
Mm-hmm.
You love wrestling. What are some of those struggles that you've had to overcome being in this space as a black woman?
Support. I've had to try to really like find that support group, and a lot of the things that I overcome was also being overlooked, you know. But I had to learn that, in order for me to be able to get those opportunities, I had to create those opportunities for myself. So that's where I swing it back to where the groundwork is what's going to take you further than having all the followers, having all the likes, because I always thought that that was the only way to go as far as in this content creator space. Yes, it is best to like, what I'm saying, have that too as well. But the groundwork is really what's going to take you further. The groundwork, the studying, you got to take it back a little bit old school before you could be able to top it off with the new school. And that's why when it comes down to, I'll always be big on, okay, let's do the groundwork, because that's what got me into my media career, was me doing the groundwork, carrying a camera, writing notes, you know what I'm saying, showing up to events, paying for events out of my own pocket, not getting invited. So, I just felt like it was really like support and kind of being overlooked because I've always had to invest as far as getting into these rooms. But I had to look at it like this: at least I am creating the opportunity for myself. And by me creating the opportunity for myself, that's when I could be able to network and put myself into those doors. Because all you need is really that one opportunity. But that opportunity has to come with the grind at the same time. Because anybody can get an opportunity, but what are you going to do after to follow up with that opportunity? So those were some of the biggest struggles because, there's points where I saw other creators that were getting opportunities that I wasn't. I was like, you know what? That would be me one day. That'll be me one day. Let me just continue doing what I'm doing and, just be a student of the game and just study. That's really what has got me to where I'm at right now as far as what my niche is, as far as in this content creating, is just collaborating with people, letting people know that we can all be together and get this together as far as not being competitors with one another. That's why I do my one-on-ones. That's why, anytime somebody reaches out to me on social media, if I don't get to them right then and there, I'm going to get to them by the end of the week or something to let them know like, hey, how can you get in this space, what you could do. I have like literally an outline of what are some ways to get you to be successful into the type of content creator that you want to be.
And she's not lying, y'all. I called Sylvia some time ago, and I sent her a message the other day. You respond fast when it says typically responds within an hour. I
Yeah.
was like, Mania, I ain't expecting nothing until maybe this week. She responded within an hour. So I can definitely attest that you are that person. And that just speaks to who you are. That speaks to your credibility. That speaks to how you hold yourself accountable. And
Yeah.
it's something that as grown-ups that we need to see more of from other people. Talk to me about what Beyond the Veil means to you.
Well, Beyond the Bell means so much to me. They are my brothers. They are my family. I've been knowing them for so long. Some of the individuals are new that I just met, but most of them I've been knowing for like over 4 years. Beyond the Bell, they're my brothers. Like they are, and my sister Lovely. They have been lifting me up. They are wanting to elevate me. They are really wanting me to go far when it comes to this content creator space. They're like literally my safe space. I love when we get on live and just be able to be ourselves and talk about, outside of wrestling, we talk about lifestyle things because we try to incorporate not just wrestling, but lifestyle into wrestling, like movies, because wrestling is subjective. So we could be able to talk about all kind of things related to wrestling. We don't have to be that person, oh, we just need to talk about wrestling only, but we can correlate to where it's okay, this storyline can relate to a storyline from something that happened in my life. But it's just, I love being a part of this space. It's funny that you asked me this question. So a little bit of transparency. Last year, me and my husband came up with a podcast. It was called the 5 Star Podcast. It was like a community for the Carolinas, that people who are wrestling fans. And I was like kind of like the forefront, and my husband was like the executive producer. We had a whole team of people, but it's just like it fell flat because, life happened, other, things take a place. And honestly, I went through a phase where I was like so depressed because we had a good thing going, and then the next thing you know, it just stopped. And I just kept like kind of like, I'm not gonna say complaining, but I just kind of was like worried and telling my husband like what's next for me, because like I don't have nobody, like I don't know what's going on. So we had Beyond the Bell, and I never forget that my husband had reached out to the leader, which is Carlito, my older brother. He reached out to him and he asked him, he was like, listen, I'm going behind Sylvia back. How do you feel about Sylvia joining the team? They were so ecstatic. He asked the whole team. It was a unanimous vote. So I never forget, my husband came upstairs to my room. He was like, I need to talk to you about something. I was like, okay, yeah. He was like, you're about to join a new podcast. I said, really? I said, we about to rebrand? What are we doing? He's like, no, you're joining Beyond the Bell. I was like, oh my God, my eyes lit up. I was like, you're lying. He was like, yes. He was like, I talked to Carlito. You're going to be the first girl. I was like, seriously? I was like, oh man. So I never forget my first episode. I just felt like I belonged. I found my space. And I never forget, it's been up ever since. So, being a part of that team has been a blessing. They've gave me so much knowledge, because there was a lot of things I didn't really know about, like when it came to wrestling too, if it wasn't for them as well. So it was good to be in a space of people who were like-minded but had different perspectives of the product.
And you have Beyond the Veil, but you also have your one-on-ones.
Yes.
So how did that even come out to be?
It's funny, the one-on-ones with Sylvia the Siren, it started where it was only supposed to be a segment for Women's History Month, where that was only supposed to be like for a month. And my sis Lovely was like, no, you need to keep that going. I said, really? Because I was only supposed to do it for the whole month of March, which is Women's History Month. She was like, no, you need to continue that. And then the team was like, no, yeah, you need to continue that. So I was like, okay, cool. So that's what had me come up with one-on-ones with Sylvia the Siren. And all I was doing was reaching out to like creators in the space, like, hey, I have a one-on-one. Can I be able to like, interview you? So that's how I got Aaliyah's face. I got Wheezy Blonde and DS Shin, a couple of names under the one-on-one. So we're still continuing the one-on-ones with Sylvia the Siren. It's going to be like a monthly segment, because it's really my segment under the Beyond the Bell umbrella. So that's how one-on-ones with Sylvia the Siren came, because it was for Women's History Month. But then my team said I did so good, I got to keep it going. that platform is pretty much for me to have a space for other creators to come on and like really talk about themselves, discuss themselves, and then we play like little games like, okay, this or that. Okay, who do you feel like is, how would you create this match, or how would you create this wrestler? So I come up with different like techniques and scenarios, because I don't want one-on-ones to be like a recap, like a recap of Wrestling Weekly. I want it to be more of an intimate space where me and that creator are having fun, and we're also, it's like a little party, but we're having fun and we're playing games and we're getting to know each other's personality, because we already know that we're content creators when it comes to the wrestling space. But let's go ahead and like, let's have a companionship. Let's go ahead and play some games and like think outside the box. So that's what one-on-one with Sylvia the Siren is. But I'm continuing it going on. I'm reaching out to creators and stuff like that want to collab. So yeah, I'm excited to continue that segment going on for sure.
And it's going to be successful because that's what we do. That's what we do. That's how we content. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned that you work with about 8 guys, 7.
Yeah. It's about so it's 8 of us. So it's 2 girls now, which is me and Lovely Laveau, and then it's 6 guys, including my husband.
6
He's part of the team too.
All right. So altogether we have about 8. There was a tweet that I saw from a guy who is a Major League Baseball analyst, sports columnist for Detroit Free Press. He said, "I can't understand how grown men are still into wrestling." Rob Parker said this on his Fox Sports show. He said, "We all went to the zoo. We all went to the circus as kids, right? And at some point, you grow out of it. I just cannot get over how these older guys who are sports fans live and die for that stuff. But they have this soft spot for wrestling. And they're walking around with the belts and they're going to a watch party at a sports bar. I need somebody to explain it to me because I don't understand it." If Rob Parker was on this particular conversation, if he was here, what would you say to Rob Parker?
I would tell him to stop hating. I would definitely tell him, one, if you don't know the product, if you don't watch the product, don't judge the product. Seriously,
Sure.
because and I'm pretty sure he's a fan of like, Hunger Games and stuff like that. So what's the difference? Like, what's the difference with being a football fan? Because sometimes a lot of these sports entertainment are subjective and are predetermined. So I would tell him, before you judge the product, watch the product. Then you will understand why getting belts are like, really like, nostalgia. Walking around with your belt, it's more, it's really a lifestyle, and nobody will understand unless they are a fan. If you're not even a casual fan, nobody will understand unless they know the history behind what the belts endure. Nobody's going to understand. And that's why, when it comes down to it, it's funny that you brought that up, because when I was at World this weekend, I got to see Nightcap interview The Undertaker. And Shannon Sharp brought up a question about, how do you feel about when people say wrestling is fake? And one thing I took from what The Undertaker said was, he was like, wrestling is not fake. If it's fake, why did I have 26 what is it called? 26 injuries and surgeries? Then he was like, wrestling is sports entertainment.
Yes.
You got to understand, like, the qualities of what goes into wrestling. They're on the road all the time. Their bodies are on the line. You get injuries after working out. It's just a lot that goes in with that business. And for when people like call it fake and call like why people go crazy, it's the history and the storyline, and nobody will understand unless you are invested in the product alone. So that's why I say to a lot of like the IWC and a lot of the casual fans that just kind of don't like nothing that goes on in wrestling right now, just start watching, because at the end of the day, it's always something that's being complained about I see online. And what I try to do, I try to ignore a lot of the negativity, because I don't want to ever surround myself in that community, because I look at the positivity of wrestling. I look at the the beauty of it. So that's why when it comes to people saying stuff like that, because I get talked about like that all the time, like, oh, you like wrestling? Because I'm in corporate too as well. So like when I talk about, oh yeah, I'm a wrestling fan, it was like, you don't look like a wrestling fan. I'm like, okay, cool.
What,
you
what do you
know,
mean?
I'm like, okay, cool. I appreciate it. And it's just like, it's just funny how like I was in an Uber on my way to Evolution PLE. The Uber driver was like, oh, where you headed to? I was like, oh, to WWE Evolution. He was like, is that wrestling? I was like, yeah. He's like, wrestling is fake. I went off. I said, really? I was like, why is it fake to you? And they're not really doing anything. It's all choreographed. It may be all choreographed to you, but you don't understand the psychology when it comes to it because you don't watch it. So yeah.
So I know that you said that you all love storylines and kind of relate things to TV shows or just culture in general. So I think
Mhm.
you'll appreciate this. I
Mhm.
remember there's an episode of Martin. Martin and
Yeah.
Gina had an argument. Martin said to Gina, "Why are you always trying to change me? You got me looking at all this bougie art." The problem with that comment was that Gina was never trying to change Martin, but she did want him to appreciate that she likes different things.
Yeah.
So one thing that I'm thinking about is you don't have to down talk something because you don't like it or you don't understand it. Just say, "Hey, I appreciate what they do," and move on.
Yes.
Let it. The other thing I would say to that is that I had a friend who told me that his therapist told him that sometimes in order to find happiness, you have to do the things that you did as a child because that
Yes.
reminds you of your happiest times. And I
Mm-hmm.
remember vividly, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. I live
Okay.
in Memphis now. So I remember going to center stage every single Wednesday for the recording of WCW Saturday Night Live. So I
Yeah.
was there on the stage. So I saw some of those greats come through there. So now that I have my 4-year-old son and he's singing Cody Rhodes and he's over here doing the Jey Uso, it's a fulfilling feeling for me because I'm passing that love of wrestling
Yes.
down to him. He's walking around talking about he's the tribal chief. And I'm like, you're in my house, buddy. I'm the tribal chief here. So those are the things that you only get from wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
We can sit here and watch football all day and play tackle
Mm-hmm.
football, but it's just something different about wrestling because of the personality. If I brought him up here right now, he'll probably cut you a promo that's better than a lot of wrestlers. Like he's just that into it, and that is one of the things that I love about wrestling. That's what wrestling has done for me and my family. So, do you have any type of similar experiences with what wrestling has done for you?
Absolutely. So it's funny, you have a 4-year-old. I got a 3-year-old. And one thing I could say that wrestling did for me, I had a really unhealthy pregnancy, and wrestling really helped me get through my pregnancy. That's why I say like wrestling like really like changed my life. And just being able, and then even during COVID, just watching and enjoying having something to look forward to every Monday and Friday, when we're going through a rough time in the world and we're not knowing what to expect in the world. So I will say, when I look at example for Obafemi, like you say, how your son could cut a promo and he thinks he's a tribal chief. When I look at Obafemi, I say, wow, I think, and this may be a crazy analogy, but I was like, I think that's going to be my son's John Cena. Like, I think that's going to be my son's Hulk Hogan. So that's why, like, I'm just looking at the future. And that's one thing I love, like with WWE and wrestling as a whole, is that how they're building new stars for the next generation. It does, yeah, and us too, yeah. But it does start with the childhood, because you're you're not going to get that nostalgia back, because wrestling is changing every day. It's changing every day. So with the man saying, I don't understand, right? Because you don't watch the product. Maybe if you don't watch it, that's fine. Just don't talk bad about it. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe give it a chance. But it's funny that you say that, because my son watches it with us every Monday and every Friday. So I just look forward to like taking him to shows, taking him to events, to really like understand like why mommy and daddy love it. And I just can't wait till my son be like, oh, that's my favorite wrestler. So it's the nostalgia of all of it. So yeah, I can agree with you on that.
Sylvia,
Yeah.
what happened to you? What happened, dude? Come here. What did he hit?
The baseball team
Cutie.
house. They down situation with the metal. Hit him in his head.
You okay?
Aw,
No. Okay. I'm sorry.
he's so
Can
handsome.
you say hello? Guess what we're
Hi,
talking about?
handsome.
We're talking about wrestling. Can you tell me who your favorite wrestler is? Jay and Jimmy. Okay. You gonna go with
Can you
mama?
do a yeet for me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. He is so handsome.
Thank you.
Have you taken him to a show yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they come to Memphis usually at the beginning of
Mhm.
the year. We first started this when he was 2.
Okay.
No, he's turning 5 this year. So yeah, we've gone the last couple of years. This past year wasn't the best one, so I said I need you to look on the calendar, see where we can go locally, and get him to a show. It'll be nothing to get him to Atlanta, so
Yeah.
that'll probably be the thing. We are going to Fan Fest in July
Okay.
because he's got to go see Jay Uso. He's got to go see.
Yes.
So I want to make
Okay.
sure I make that.
Are you going to any updated like PLE? Because I'm working on SummerSlam and Money in the Bank, and that's another thing too. I wanted to like tell you like they have those photo ops, and those are really like good things to like do in the space of like going to the PLEs. And Jay Uso does a photo op and sign autographs every PLE. He's like they working him, they working him hard.
I was so mad at Jay Uso this past February because they pulled up to Memphis.
Yeah.
And usually I see him do meet and greets in different cities, but he didn't do one here. And then the next week they were in Atlanta. And I was like, I don't know why I didn't think about it. I should have just took the kid to Atlanta. And he did a meet and greet at like the Cricket. That's what I should have done.
Well, they're coming here. They're coming here in May. They're coming here. So they're going to 3 shows that's in my area. They're going to Columbia, South Carolina, and they're going to Greensboro too. They come to Charlotte. They always come to Charlotte around the road to WrestleMania. So it's always like between like February, the beginning of February, or like the middle, and then they will come around the fall time, like September, like a little bit of October. And it's mostly Monday Night Raw that comes in the fall, and then SmackDown comes in the top of the year for over here to the road to WrestleMania. Yeah.
See, we usually get SmackDown, but this year they gave us Raw, and I was like, Raw, I want SmackDown, especially if Chief wasn't going to be there.
That's true.
But it was cool because he actually saw Obafemi. We went at that point in time. They had Obafemi do main event. Which was a whole nother story. But I'm so glad we got there at the time we did because we walked right in and boom, Oba was coming out. So that was perfect timing. That's another thing that he loves to do. He loves to do the Obafemi walk and everything. Right. So
my husband did the Obafemi strut at World, and it was so funny. I was gonna do a little entrance too, but I kind of chickened out. I was like, no, I'm a little chicken.
See, that's gonna take them to Fanatics Fest too because they're able to do the entrance. Just to see him do
worth it. It's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Going to Money in the Bank. I don't know if I want to go to Minneapolis for SummerSlam.
Everybody's saying no for SummerSlam. It's funny.
Minneapolis is like hella black, so it might actually be a vibe.
I think it's going to be a vibe because, it's a lot to expect with the way these stories are going, the way how Mania weekend was. So, yeah. All right.
So you talked to me earlier about, that you went to WrestleMania in Vegas, WrestleMania 42, year 2 in Vegas. Give me your overall thoughts of how the weekend was from the time that you landed until the time that you left.
Absolutely. Okay, so when we got there, we went to World the first day. World, World was fun. World was extremely fun. I will say this, the thing with World, it wasn't as packed as it was this year than how it was last year. And it could have been because of the day that I went, because I think World opened up on Wednesday and Thursday, and most of the talent was doing a lot of the photo ops, the signing autographs, or doing a lot of the events those days, because Fridays they got to prepare for SmackDown. Saturday, of course, they got to prepare for night one. And then Sundays they only open for 4 hours with World. So when we got there, it was beautiful. It was very big. That convention center in Vegas is extremely big. Concrete floor, so my feet was burning after I was done doing all the activities that I was doing. But
Well,
yeah, so we went one day. Say that again.
you had on flats, right?
No, I had on Asics sneakers. I had on Asics sneakers.
Okay.
I would advise nobody to wear flats at that type of event, because it's like World is like, you know what I'm saying, it's like an amusement park of WWE. That's how I'm
Yes.
gonna put it. It's like an amusement park of WWE. So when we get in there, they had a DJ. It's kind of like, it was like when you go through the tunnels like Apocalypse, and they show all of the digital clips that took place with Pat McAfee, you know what I'm saying, me and Cody, and then Trick and Sammy. So it was a whole bunch of like, posters, but like they digitalized it, which was so cool. And then throughout the whole space, it's a lot of like lines for the meet and greets and the photo ops. Now, the biggest area where everybody was and was watching was the entrance. The entrance, like people could come out and like do whatever entrance that they want. Like a lot of people came out to Finn Balor, the Demon. Pat McAfee, a lot of people were trolling with Pat McAfee. I was like, why does everybody keep picking Pat McAfee? I was like, come on, we supposed to hate him right now. Oba, definitely a lot of interest with Oba, a lot of interest with Jey Uso. So that was fun to watch. That area was extremely packed. The cool thing is that they're digital when it comes to content. They're getting better digitally. So when you come out after doing the entrance, they print you out a slip. All you got to do is scan it, and then your video comes up. I just think that is so good, and that's so convenient for people to like be able to share their experience on what took place at World. They had the commentator booth. Me and my husband did that one. That was pretty cool. Got to show off my little bit of skills and whatnot. It's like,
Yep.
but yeah, that was fun. And then I got to meet Rusev and Sheamus. They did a free like meet and greet in the area because there's stars all on the floor. Roxanne, and then what else happened? And then we got to see Nightcap live interview The Undertaker. And then we also got to see Logan Paul too come out and troll, do his little thing. But it was definitely worth. We paid $100 for, it's $100 for like one day. If you want to do like the whole like 3 days, I know like the package is like $400, but it's not bad. You get your bucks worth because you come out with a lot of gifts. You come out with a lot of goodies, and you can see a lot of merch. The only thing I would say about World is like I wasn't really impressed with the merch this year at all. I thought they would have had a little bit more of the women's representation. Not a lot of Jade, considering Jade was like the female main event. There was no Jade. It was a lot of Rhea. It was no Bianca, which is kind of understandable because Bianca, you know what I'm saying, was injured, but now, she's pregnant. But I just thought I would see a little bit more representation of the women's division when it comes to the shirts and the merch. But we got a lot of Punk. We got a lot of Jey Uso. We got a lot of Roman. Yeah, Penta, which was a beautiful thing because of the demographic. We saw a lot of Penta. We saw a lot of Dom. Because at World, they had their own section of like the Luchador and AAA, which I thought was really, really cool. Representing Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero had some nice merch. They paid a lot of great homage to him. So yeah, for men's, they definitely was on point. But women, I just kind of expected a little bit of more for the woman. I just wanted a little bit more like some Charlotte, because Charlotte is one of my goats too. But yeah, that was the only thing. But overall, it was a really fun experience, especially for family. I definitely, if they continue this, my son is going for sure.
Glad that you said that because that was my struggle. I didn't know if I wanted to take my son to Vegas, but I also know that if I was to go to Vegas, I would want to enjoy Vegas and not really have to be a dad all day. I mean, because of course it's Vegas. You want to Vegas.
Right.
So I did say that when they come back from Saudi,
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the perfect time to go ahead and make our first WrestleMania trip together.
Absolutely.
That'll be 2028. That's the
Mm-hmm.
goal plan. Lord, keep us all here so that we can live.
Exactly. And listen, I know that one after Saudi is going to be, I know everybody's going to want to experience World. Now, I know that WrestleMania, once Saudi is done, I know that WrestleMania is going to be a packed WrestleMania. So definitely, like, we got to jump on that opportunity before they try to continue this situation with Saudi. Because, you know, man, the investors were there too, so it's like it's still a go. Even though I've been hearing mixed, signals that they're probably not going to do it, but it looks like it is a go. But it's kind of sad that they're doing it that way. I just, because the way these prices were this year, it's just unfortunate because, like, it's not fair to the kids because they're like, oh, mommy, I want to go to wrestling. But, those tickets is high. We got to make sure we have food on the table. Our bills are paid. So that's the only thing I will say. Yes, that's the only thing I will say that was really unfortunate about, like, the whole WrestleMania. But if you're not able to make it to a WrestleMania show, World will definitely be the place to go to still get that experience. I do highly recommend, hey, don't give up going. You could be able to do a photo op for under $80 and you can get it a World for a day for $100 and you will come out satisfied and reliving your dream as a wrestling fan, reliving your childhood. So I try to tell, like, a lot of the people that reach out to me, well, how did you get to do this? How did you get to go this? I tell them all the time, it's not always about going to the show unless you ain't never been to a show before. I have been to a lot of live tapings. So it's like, okay, let me experience, like, different events and different, like, angles of what WWE offers, which is the photo ops and going to World. Those are really great experience. I feel like you're going to get your experience when you do those type of things when it comes to these PLEs. So that's why I said, don't always invest in trying to go into the show. Invest in doing other things related to the show.
When you said one part, all I heard was Triple H in the back of my head. This is what we do. Do what we do.
Triple H.
Let's just, since we're there, let's just go to it.
Yeah.
A lot of discourse this weekend was that the people who were at WrestleMania, and I'll just start with night one, that they said, presentation wise, y'all had a time in Allegiant Stadium. But for us at home, it was a different experience. So I wanted to just kind of grasp, how did you feel about night one? Did it feel match-wise? Was the pacing okay? Did they bombard you all with commercials on the big screen? Like, how was night one for you?
So night one was kind of lackluster. It was a lot of ads. It was a lot of promotion. At one point, I was calling it ad mania, sponsor mania, because the amount of ads and sponsors, it was just all over the place. That was my biggest opportunity I did not like that was going on for night one. And night two had the same issue as well. We'll get on that in a second. Yeah. And then so as far as, like, night one, I don't know why they wanted to make night one so kind of mid to build up for night two. They should not have done that. It should have been equal amount of the same type of energy that night two bring, night one should have bring as well. So I think the experience, like, for night one being there, I feel like, you're able to see a lot more being in the arena than watching it from home, because we're watching all of these ads. We're watching while they're going into commercial break, while they're changing up which, talent is coming in and coming out. So I will say a lot of the matches were very short, very, 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 very short. Because they had to do those matches. The matches had to be short because the ads were interrupting. Gotta get these ads in. And just seeing, like, the Slim Jim come from being on the table one time to being twice on the table, like, I just was like, okay, it's becoming a lot. And then the ring having all those sponsors, it was definitely giving really greedy.
Forget about the turnbuckle.
yeah, the turnbuckle. I you know, it was just like getting real greedy, and I just was like, oh, all I kept saying the whole time when I'm watching. All right, can we wrap these ads up? Can we wrap these ads up? Um, it was a lot of highs and a lot of lows, a lot of highs and a lot of lows on night one. One of the biggest highs was, you know, Bianca announcing her pregnancy. One of the, yeah, what was you about to say?
When I tell you, when I heard Bianca theme music, because in my mind, I had a whole other idea for Bianca coming back. I had another plan.
Yes, me
My
too.
comeback with Rhea and Jade's match. I
Yes,
figured she was the third one to kind of balance everything out.
yes,
But when she came out, my wife is sitting on the couch, my
yes.
kid is sitting in there, and I was like, I was so happy. And
I
then
was
when she came out with
ecstatic.
all those feathers on, I said, I know
That
I know
glow.
what I'm about to hear.
That glow told it all. I cried, like I cried so hard because
I
like
was almost there.
she's
I
my
was almost
goat. So it's like I was crying, but I had the same prediction too as you. Me and Dia Shin, when we were doing predictions and I was doing his interview, I was saying I might sound a little, but I think Bianca is going to come out a Rhea and Jade match and be there for Rhea because of the stable being announced on Jade's end. I'm like, okay, we gonna get a surprise, and they keeping this under the wraps. But then that swerve came, she came out. All I hear is I'm on my own. I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Why she here day one? She should have been here on day two. Like it's not part of the prediction, not part of the plan.
timing wrong. Somebody messed up the segments. Somebody,
Yes.
I'm Beyonce.
Yes. I
Somebody,
was like, yo, is this supposed to happen? And next thing you know, when she made that announcement, I was like, oh. So that's where I set up to where I was like, okay, I can't call night two when it comes to Jade and Rhea's match. Um, it was good to see Paige come back, but I just think like in that match, I don't think they should have took the win. The Bellas and Paige. I think that, you know, that match, one was very, very short. It was kind of all over the place. You know, Fatal Four Ways is just a lot going on when it comes to like the tag Fatal Four Ways. A lot goes on in that. A lot of missed spots that Lyra was making when it came to her doing like her kickover. I will say Charlotte and Lash was like the MVPs of the match because, you know, they kept it clean and kept it precise. Nia too with the Samoan drop. You know, she never misses. A real true definition of a powerhouse. The opportunity that was missed on that match, I felt like Lyra and Bailey should have took it because I feel like, you know, Bailey has not have given a fair shake when it comes to Mania at all. Since considering what happened last year, her being taken off of Mania like last minute to bring Becky Lynch in, I just feel like she's the four horsemen that is like the black sheep, which is so unfair because she's amazingly talented. She took over the Thunderdome when her and Bianca had that major rival, like that was so fun to watch. I love Bailey when the Thunderdome days because like she was eating, but it's just unfortunate. I would say that was the missed opportunity for that match for sure. Yeah.
real quick, I
Mhm.
think with Bailey, she's the people's champ. She's your favorite females wrestler. Even I'll push it even further. She's your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler.
Yeah.
So when we see Bailey, we've grown up with Bailey. We remember Bailey with the side ponytail, with the
Mm-hmm. The
like
hugger.
she was like in a sense, she was almost like a wrestling version of Taylor Swift, like
Yes.
this high school, college girl type appeal.
Mhm.
And to see how she's grown in her character development, um, it's definitely strange how they handled Bailey over the last few years. So I'm right there with you.
Absolutely. And then what else? So I thought Seth and Gunther, no notes on that one. I thought that match was amazing.
Was what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, it was what it was exactly. Good to see Braun Breaker come out. You know, I think he's the future when it comes down to this next generation. Because it was a lot of matches, a lot of men matches on night one.
A
But
lot of testosterone. A lot of
yes, it
testosterone.
was. The women's AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. Very quick. Couldn't really remember that match as much. Was it like, you know, was it an eye stopper? Was it a banger? It wasn't. But I feel like the right person did take the win because if we're gonna have AJ as like a part-timer like Roman, then she shouldn't be carrying the title. Because whereas though Becky, I will say when it came to the women's IC title, she elevated the title. She brought, prestige to the title. And a lot of women have gotten a chance to, compete for the title. So I think that with Becky being on there, she's going to continue elevating the title, and it's going to be in the hands of somebody that, I'm not going to necessarily say an underdog, but somebody that could be a potential world champ. So
Absolutely.
I think that was the best, because with AJ is like more so the nostalgia. I thought her return was going to be like a big one, and it was just like we barely saw her. And which is okay. I'm pretty sure that's part of her contract, but I really wanted to see more when it came to her, especially with her getting the IC title. I was like, okay, what we're going to do with it? What are we going to do with it? But I expected more. She didn't defeat the title as much as I would have liked. A lot of them didn't, but that's not their fault. That comes down to creative in the booking ultimately. But that was that match. And then when it comes to Stephanie Becure and Liv, another one that was cut very short.
Yes.
A lot of missed opportunities, a little bit very lackluster. But do I feel like the winner deserved? Yes. I felt like Liv definitely needed to take the title, because Stephanie, they put the rocket on Stephanie's back for so long, and then they dropped the ball once they put the title on her. I was really expecting more. Again, it's not her fault that she didn't get to defend the title as much as she should have, considering like the type of powerhouse that she is, the type of technical wrestler she is coming from overseas. I was going to expect more. I thought she would have been on weekly defending that title, but it's like she turned into be an afterthought champion. And that's where I was like, okay, it was points I was getting confused that she still had the title. I was like, she still got the title? She still got the title?
I think they have to do a better job of making us care about Stephanie Becure.
Exactly.
And the one thing that bothers me,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Give me a little bit more.
It's no personality. It's no personality, because it's a language barrier. I think also plays a part too in it, which is understandable. But that's why we have managers. That's why we have characteristics like that. Yeah.
Yeah, if she gets a mouthpiece, I think that's what would elevate her.
Absolutely.
We need those Jimmy Harts. We need those Bobby the Brain Heenans again. We need those
Paul Heymans.
Exactly. I come from a time where they had Colonel Parker in Sensational Shit. So I remember them. We need those type of managers to come back and really help push storylines and push wrestlers. And while we hear about Stephanie and Liv, I think that should have been a street fight or no DQ, I should say, because of I didn't know if this was real or not. Because the way they've been throwing blows,
That was a great build. That was a great build. I gotta give them that. They had a great build, but a ugly match, but a not so great match.
They deserve better. The backstage fights that they've had have been much better than the match.
Definitely.
When Liv Morgan threw that girl against the projector at the Raw, the screen blacked out for a second, and then when they went to Gorilla, Stephanie picks up Liv and slams on the ground. I'm like, this is serious. Y'all fighting for real.
Yeah. We heard that concussion all the way through the TV, because it was like, yeah, I was like, okay, dang. I said, y'all heard that? You heard that? I was like, yeah, no. It was insane. And like, I just wish that match was given a little bit more time, considering they really had a great build, for it to be so short and like kind of like very lackluster. But I really didn't. Night one wasn't bad. Let me say this. I think a lot of people complain so much about night one, because we did have a great highs in night one. I just think the women's end could have been better. And it starts with booking them better and then producing those matches a lot better too.
Sure.
Because even with the main event with Randy and Cody, that match was kind of short too as well compared to night two. So I just think like they were all over the place and trying to add this and that to the situation. Whereas though they kind of rushed into it and made it so fast paced for all the matches on night one to try to get these ads in, try to get this moment in, and it just kind of didn't correlate, and it just wound up being kind of like all over the place because they're setting up night one just to be the okay, but you set up night two to be successful, and it kind of it kind of makes me wonder, like, why would you set up Randy Orton, somebody who's an icon legend, that's future Hall of Famer? Why would you put him in a situation like that? You know? And then for yeah, yeah, they pivot so much, and like, another thing, I don't know if WrestleMania was really cursed when it came to ticket prices, when it came to injuries, a lot of pivoting, but I just kind of was expecting more with that situation with Randy and Cody. Not to expect Pat McAfee to be a part of the equation. It just was kind of all over the place.
It's funny that you said it might have been cursed because it was supposed to be in New Orleans. So somebody in New Orleans probably had the doll set up and was like, "Oh,
something
right by me, sticking pins all in the doll." Yeah,
something was set up for sure, because there's no way that Randy Orton should have even been presented like that. No, he could have got that 15 too. I wouldn't have been mad about that.
He was supposed to get 15.
Yeah, he was supposed to.
But from night one, we can skip Usos and LA Knight. We can skip that. That whatever. Let's go to night two.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts about night two? How did everything look for you?
Excellent. Night two was really, really amazing. So first match of night two, I believe it was Oba and Brock. I definitely shedded a little tear with that match.
Unexpected.
And here's the thing. Me and Lovely talked when me and her did one-on-one. We both said that Brock is going to put him over. Brock is going to do it for Oba. He's going to do it. And then it's like we kept getting countered by the IWC. They was like, no, it's WWE. It's WWE. But something told me, I was like, for somebody of that charisma, aura, which I know is everybody's favorite word, I said, there's no way that they could drop the ball on this talent. Because if they drop the ball on him, it's going to look suspect as far as racism. I said it's going to look suspect because this man is the total package, and soon as I saw him come out, the crowd and just the little kids and just him, it was black excellence. When he came in the ring and did his little, his move, I said, this is it. This is it. And then Brock came out, and I never forget when they locked up, Brock, I know, stated to him, like, this is all you. This is you. It's your time. Seeing that match was like everything. It was short, but it made sense. It made so much sense. That's how you do a short match, because there was still a lot of storytelling and great precision when it came to that match. And to top it off, he pinned him clean. And then after the match was over, we got an unexpected surprise that he was retiring. Obafemi retired Brock Lesnar. That man made history.
Not only did he retire him, he humanized Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
Ain't nobody ever seen Brock Lesnar cry. And one thing that I think about with Oba and Brock, I think about when I'm sure somebody had that conversation with Brock, like, hey, you're the one who defeated the streak. The same way that you beat the streak,
yes,
is the way Oba needs to go over and beat you. But I honestly don't feel like Brock was pushing back. Like, no, it can't be Oba. I feel like
he handpicked Oba. He handpicked Oba.
He picked Oba, but I think Oba made him believe.
Yeah,
like, okay, you got it. But to your point, I don't think he was picked by Brock. But shouts out to Oba. He avenged so many on Sunday night. Shouts out to Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston.
He got that get back for them. He definitely got the get back for them.
Because that was the thing. If you're black and you're in a powerful position, all of a
Yes.
sudden you hear that guitar riff, it's over.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's what I was afraid of. And now, and we discussed this on our recap this week, this past Monday, and it's just like I'm curious to know what's going to be next, considering that match, was an amazing match, and like I just curious to know what's going to be next for Oba. I think the future is definitely bright for him, but I am just hoping and praying that they don't drop the ball on him as far as like the booking. Like we've said, he needs to be a special attraction. They need to book him like Brock in order for him to really like soar as that face of the company, that guy, which he's definitely going to be. I'm gonna be optimistic about it because at the end of the day, I want to see my people win, and that's one brother I want to see go far in this business because he deserves. Very articulate, very kind, very respectful, a gentleman. I think he would definitely go far in this business for sure.
What I don't want to see is him being overexposed because then
Yeah.
you lessen the appeal of him.
Yes.
I tell all my friends, absence makes the heart grow fonder. When people are gone,
Mhm.
it makes you appreciate them more. It
Yeah.
makes them feel special when they come back. I'm not going to say Oba is a part timer by no stretch of that at all. He's a worker for sure,
Yes.
but he's a worker that has different situations. There's exception to every rule. Oba is the exception. He doesn't need to be at every single Raw or every single SmackDown. He's a special attraction. He comes in when he needs to.
That is true. That is very, very true. I feel like Oba definitely, he's going to change the game for wrestling. He's going to make a difference because he's already making a difference when it comes to these kids, the community within itself. So I just see a lot for him as far as in this community.
You know what I hear or what I see? I see a better version of Bill Goldberg. Because, of
Yeah.
course, when Goldberg came out, Goldberg.
Go.
That's
But
all I hear.
Goldberg could wrestle me. Unpopular opinion, like the squash man. Was you a fan of Goldberg?
He can give you a good 5-minute match, but
Yeah,
he's
he
not.
can.
I mean, of all people, I say he's no Bret Hart, but you don't
Nah,
expect that.
Bret
He's
Hart
a
is one
much
of my
better wrestler.
faves. Yes, Bret Hart is one of my faves too. That is, I love me some. Yeah, one of the best technical wrestlers for sure. Yeah.
And what else you have for night 2?
So for night 2, Trick Williams, happy for him. He took the win. Trick Williams, I was happy for him. Sami Zayn definitely put him over for sure. And then I want to talk about because the Demon and Dom, that was cool, and then what other match was on? Oh, that ladder match. Chef kisses. That ladder match was so beautiful. Seeing Javon definitely was an MVP. JD did a really good job. All of them within themselves did a good job. Like there was no like bad moment. It was everything that it needed to be when it comes to a ladder match. And I was just when I say I was very, very impressed with that ladder match, that was probably one of my favorite matches. But night 2, I'm gonna say this as far as like the only women's match on the card. I'm so proud of Jade Cargill. Nobody could say anything.
Oh,
Let me tell you something. She carried her weight. She did what she was supposed to do. She did amazing. Clean, precise, the psychology. Her and Rhea had really great chemistry, considering I don't know if it's a shoot that they really like have, dislike for each other, but they were
right.
able to work together and come together with having such a bad build. Oh my God. It was such a bad build, but an excellent match. That match was the best female match of WrestleMania 42. That match was the best match. I am extremely proud of Jade. I met Jade a couple times and I interviewed her on the channel, and by far she's amazing talent. She proved the IWC, the WWE universe very wrong. She was like, I could show you better than I could tell you. She definitely because the thing is she got a lot of flock for getting it handed to her per se, and like not going through the indies route, the developmental routes, because you know what I'm saying, she was just that star. The star quality was already there without her having to pay dues. Sometimes it's not always about the talent, it's about the work that you put in. And a lot of people don't understand like a lot of the work that she put in, because they just see the glitz and glamour, and they see that she is a wrestler that doesn't need wrestling because she's already rich. You know,
Hello.
this is something, if she didn't really love the business, she definitely wouldn't consider staying there, considering she doesn't need wrestling. She loves it. You could tell that she loves it and she wants to grow into it. And she said in a recent interview that she wanted to get grit. She wanted to sink and swim with having the title. She wanted to defend it more. But the creators and the booking did that. And that right there, you know, we as fans, IWC, WWE Universe, have to take in consideration and have a little bit more empathy when it comes to these talents, because they're not the ones making the decision, you know? And what I'm happy for her is that with her not being able to defend her title as much, she showed up and showed out in that match with the heaviest hitter on the women's roster, the face of the women's division, the face of the company. You know, I mean, I don't want to call her Rhea Hogan because that's not what she is, but somebody that really is their go-to. It's always about it. And one thing about wrestling, you got to have a great dance partner. And Rhea is a great dance partner. And they both, you know, they both conga together very well. So that was my very very favorite moment, because I love the women's division, of course. Seeing Jade overcome the obstacles of people telling her that she is not a great wrestler, she's not WWE, she's just a beautiful face. She proved everybody wrong. And I feel like, you know, everybody's asking, so what's next? Is she going to be able to follow up? She's going to be able to follow up. If she can go against somebody as dominant and powerhouse as Rhea Ripley, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, but this was the best match of her career. She's had some great matches. It's just a lot of people don't give her credit for it because of who she is. But this match within itself, I think we all need to eat our words seriously about her.
WWE, they've been teasing Charlotte and Jade for so long.
Yes.
I need them to make that happen.
I want that to
Go
happen
ahead.
so bad.
Go ahead, split up these little besties of Alexa and Charlotte.
Yes.
Let's hone in on Jade and Charlotte, because the teases have been there and it's money right there.
Definitely.
And I know that Charlotte would elevate Jade even more. And especially with Bianca not being in the picture for a year. We'll
Yes.
say a year and some change.
Yes.
You know, there's an opportunity for Jade to like really submit herself in this women's division, not just, you know, now, but in history.
Yes.
And I know she's going to take advantage of it. I know she is. And I look forward to what they do with her. So any other thoughts?
It's funny that you bring that up. I was super duper excited for that because I thought that was going to be the Mania match, her and Charlotte. When we interviewed her on the channel, she kind of cut a promo for us because the question was asked, who would you like to see yourself in the ring with? She was like, Charlotte Flair. And I remember I had said this to her. I said, she was like, yeah, I said, yeah, that would be a great dynamic duo. She was like, correct, because I am the top, she's the top girl and I'm the it girl. And we made headlines based off of her like saying that, and it was just, yeah.
Okay, that's a good number saying. Okay.
Yeah, so like I was just so like, and I'm like, okay, is there Easter eggs going on? I was like, yo, is she really teasing it? Like, are we getting that? So I'll never forget, because it was early January we got that interview with her, and I got off and I was talking to my husband and the team. I was like, I think we getting a Charlotte and Jade match. I said, okay, I got to start cooking. And then that's when we started seeing the shift of Elimination Chamber. And then Rhea took it. I was like, so we're not getting that. I was like, man. And then she kept, say it again.
Yeah. I'm not mad how things turned out. We did get a good match from Rhea and Jade, but I want Charlotte and Jade.
We're going to get that. And let me tell you something. I hope we don't get it in Saudi. I hope we don't get it in Saudi. I'm praying we kind of get it for one of these PLEs.
Protect Black women, okay?
Please. Please. I hope we don't get it in Saudi. I can't
in
handle
Saudi,
that.
they don't believe in that.
No, they don't. I can't handle that. I really feel like that has to be a match that's in the States because nobody's going to respect. I just, and I could be putting my foot in my mouth with this, but I don't think they're going to honor and respect that match.
No.
I don't think so at all. And I'm just hoping, like, as soon as that match comes about, Charlotte and Jade, I'm all on that because I wanted that too as well for Jade. And Jade, you could tell on this media press run that she's going on, she's been wanting that. She wanted that, but it did work out as far as the winner with Rhea taking the title. I'm not mad at it because like I was telling my chat and like I was saying on the recap, sometimes it's not always about the title. Sometimes it's where do you go from here afterwards? What's your next move? Because there's a lot that we could look forward to with Jade, with that stable. That stable could definitely make money and move mountains. It's so much we could do with Jade. And like I said, the title is not always the necessary in goal, out goal of when it comes to being that top girl, being the top face. You can definitely make history without that title. It's great to have the gold, but she don't need it. I'm pretty sure after this, I know for a fact she's going to take the sink or swim route and she's going to be able to elevate herself and the women that's next to her, which is Michin and BFAB, which they definitely need the credit to. They need the credit too. But I'm not mad. I'm not worried because I think at the end of the day, she did what she needed to do. And that was defeat Rhea and go out with a bang. And that's exactly what she did.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to the future of not only the stable, but more particularly BFAB. Because BFAB, she's been putting in that work at the training center. Mm-hmm. She's been cutting promos at the training center. So you can tell that she really wants this. It's just a matter of the opportunity coming up, but it's also her being prepared. Exactly. She's putting in the preparation. So we're seeing that the opportunity just has to come. And I believe, and I'm not going to say Jade is Roman and can elevate everyone, but I do know that Jade can elevate. And Jade will be able to elevate these two women. And I cannot wait until the future. And like you said, sometimes the story isn't more so about the title, it's about where you go next. And because SmackDown doesn't have a lot going on in the women's division, there's more stories that you can tell with Rhea coming there. So now everyone's looking at Rhea. Jade can still cook. She can still, she has a stable. She can definitely still cook. So I can't wait until this Friday to see what happens on SmackDown. They got 3 hours to work with. They got plenty of time to figure out some storylines.
Absolutely.
Anything else you want to add?
I want to piggyback on you and let you know that I agree with you as far as like with BFAB. BFAB is a great attraction. I'll never forget when she debuted as a wrestler and she came out and she had great feedback. Her charisma was everything. She actually did pretty well in the ring too. But with her training with Natty, I'm telling you, like Natty's going to make her a superstar. That is, let me tell you, like, I feel like BFAB will go far. She already got the promo. She already got the promo game. But I think the in-ring skills is going to come easy to her because long as you got that mic, you can move around and have the psychology. That could come natural because you already know, like, you got the mic skills. So I'm eager to see how far she's going to go. I think, WWE really has a lot of faith in stock in BFAB. Because, they're giving her a lot of opportunities. I think when she was with the Profits too, as like, their valet, the wrestler, I think she also did well with that too. So it's like, she's one of those people that can adapt to any environment that you put her in. And that's what I like about her. So I do want to see more for BFAB for sure. And I think we get more. I think that stable's going to make magic. I think they're going to really shake up SmackDown because like you said, SmackDown Women's Division has been lacking. Let's get back to the stories and then we could talk about these titles. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think with SmackDown only having one title, which is Rhea having a title, because the tag, I believe the Bellas are going to be on Raw. We need to get back to the stories. We need to get back to the build when it comes to the women's division. So I'm excited.
And the main event of night 2, your thoughts?
Cinematic, very poetic, and yeah, I was out of my seat. I will say this, like, I was flipping back and forth who I wanted to win on that one. I couldn't call it. I really, really couldn't call it at all. I I think they build was, you know, I think we were all expecting more when it came to their building and when it came to their promos, with Roman like not being there as so often, and Punk having like to carry the, you know, the promo and everything like that when it came to their story. I think for like the build to be like not so much of the best build, of course the match delivered. That was a Mania match for sure. And I just, yeah, the chemistry was all the way there. They put their blood, sweat, and tears on the line. I'm really, you know, and then seeing Punk come out to his Ring of Honor theme song, you know, in his intro to his entrance, I just thought that was amazing. Like, it gave like everybody chills. Like, my husband was like going crazy. And, you know, just seeing how much of, again, the grind that he put in, and he's one of those ones that went through all the steps of where he needed to go, and then Roman being the Nepo baby. I loved how like that story kind of intertwined with each other, because you got the grit grinder, and then you got the Nepo baby going against it. Who's going to take it all? And to be honest, they both put their blood, they both put it on the floor, and they were going. They were going. I was like, I was scared, because like every pin, I was like, okay, do they got it? I couldn't call who was going to get that one, but it was an amazing match. And yeah, I was excited. That was a Mania match. So night 2 saved WrestleMania 42. Let's just say that.
Absolutely. My thoughts on the Roman Punk match, or let's go back to the build up.
Mm-hmm.
I think after the bury you next to your father comment, I think our expectation was, all right, Roman's got to come back. But then it just turned physical. So it was like, you just made this jump from 0 to 100. And now it's like, we'll wait to the build.
Yeah.
I told a few of my friends this. I said, you don't bring Roman back to win the Royal Rumble to main event WrestleMania just to lose. I felt in my heart of hearts, and then the promotion that Roman was doing on Sunday, 2 hours before Mania, he's opening up Jordans and posting it on IG. I said, oh yeah, he's definitely going to win, which I'm not mad about. Roman is my tribal chief. I do acknowledge him.
Oh yeah.
One of the best stories in wrestling is how he changed from being booed to getting dog food poured on him to now who he is now. I believe this 4 year, that 4 year run solidified him as a GOAT, and it wipes out the bad years totally. So shouts out to Roman Reigns. Shouts out to CM Punk, who at age 47 put on one hell of a match. For him to do the elbow, the flying elbow onto a table at his age, it just shows you how much Punk is invested. One thing that you cannot take away from CM Punk is that he loves wrestling. It's what he was born to do. And I do believe the future for CM Punk beyond wrestling or beyond active wrestling, he will be a Shawn Michaels type. He's going to be at NXT. He's going to be helping these younger wrestlers and helping them understand not just the mic, but how you can tell a story in the ring. Pipe bombs for sure, but you also got to be able to set a bomb off in the match. You know what I mean? So I love what CM Punk brings to wrestling. I love the match that he had with Roman, and I cannot wait until I see what this summer does for Punk and Roman, because it looks like Punk is going to go to SmackDown. That's what it looks like.
That's what it's looking like for sure. But I gotta agree with you on he will be like the Shawn Michaels going to NXT. When he came back from AEW and came back to WWE, he looked so healthy and happy. The first thing he did was he went to NXT and he was training with those guys, and they were just like so respectful to him. They were honoring him. He didn't get that same type of energy at being at AEW, and the fact that, like, again, you're a student that's trying to learn, and there was so many guys like Carmelo Hayes, you got Trick, you got Braun Breaker at that time that was still on NXT that was really trying to learn from him. I could tell that, like, you know what, he's going to be the next person that's going to take over one of the brands, as far as like either producing behind the scenes, because he loves being the teacher when it comes to the game. And I love that for him, because when he came and made an appearance on NXT a couple times when he first came back, just a smile was lighting up. I said, dang, he really liked NXT. So I'm glad you brought that up, because I definitely agree with you on that for sure.
And then if you look on X, you always see clips of him after a match just doing unserious stuff. So even on this past Sunday, they showed him like he was trying to get up and he would just like fall down. I saw a clip of him like blaming people that weren't helping him up. You can tell right now that CM Punk is having the time of his life.
Yeah.
He is happy. And that for me is everything for him. Like at the time CM Punk was at his height, I wasn't into wrestling at that time, but I followed enough to understand who CM Punk is and was at that time. And they kind of pulled me back in too, because I was like, wait, he's gonna leave with the title? He gonna leave WWE? Y'all let Bret Hart spit on him, but you gonna let this man walk out of his own Chicago arena with the title? So it's those kind of things that like pulled me back in. But CM Punk, man, I almost want to say he was the MVP of night 2. But then that means I have to take it away from Jade. And I think right now my MVP would be Jade, because she silenced so many people.
I'm going to say, you know what? I have several MVPs like for night 2. And Punk, definitely that entrance, that was just that just was like so inspiration.
That's why WWE is so good, because production-wise, they know how to do production. If they don't know how to do anything, they may not be the best at booking. They may not be the best at writing. But when it comes to putting on production, they get it.
Absolutely.
That's what we do.
No, I love every bit of like the production, the storyline, but they got to get better with the booking. They got to get better with the creative. They really, really do. But like you said, one thing about it, the production is going to always be top tier. Yeah. So yeah. But I had several MVPs for night 2. Jay definitely. I'm gonna have to. It's kind of hard to call it with Roman and Punk, who was the MVP, because they both showed up and showed out in that match. I was saying Javon was my MVP for the ladder match. Yeah, and then I'm gonna have to give it to, I will give it to Oba, but I hate to say this, but I'm gonna have to give it to Brock, because the way Brock put him over. We haven't had something so great like that in so long when it comes to this new talent, from like legendary talent like Brock Lesnar. So, Oba took the win, but I'm gonna have to give the MVP to Brock. I ain't gonna lie, I got to.
He that made Oba a made man.
Yes, definitely did. It definitely did. So I know his bank account like millions and millions at this point right now.
When that WrestleMania check hit,
that's it.
It's gonna hit. A few more questions and I'll get you out of here. I call this portion 3 on 3. These are 3 questions.
Okay.
You give me your 3 answers. I listen and I don't judge, as the kids say. I ain't gonna judge you.
Okay.
So I'm going to start off the top. I'm going to take out Stone Cold, because I know he's your absolute favorite.
Okay.
I'm going to take out Natty, and I'm going to take out Naomi. Okay. I need 3 of your favorite wrestlers.
Okay, so Bianca.
Oh, that's good.
Charlotte Flair. Okay, and Oba Femi right now. Those my 3. Right
I ain't mad at it. Oh, we talked about promos a lot. Mm-hmm. Give me 3 of your favorite wrestlers who can touch that mic.
Okay, so Alexa Bliss.
Ooh, highly underrated.
Yes, The Miz. And then my 3rd has to be CM Punk.
Can I be selfish for a moment?
Go ahead.
I want The Miz to get one last serious run.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. He's a workhorse in that ring, and he can go.
Such inspiration.
Oh, I remember him being on The Real World. That was my show. I wanted to be on The Real World.
You know what?
And so for him,
He deserved flowers. That man deserved flowers. That man deserved his flowers. But you are right.
for
I would
him
like another
to,
last run.
yeah, give me one last run and put him on a title. That's the story. Put him on a title chase.
Exactly.
It doesn't even have to be a WrestleMania moment. Even if he does a title chase from like the King of the Ring tournament, even if it's something like, a number one contenders match and throw him in there and he gets a bout at, it could have been Backlash for all I care. I mean, he
Yeah.
just needs one more story run because I understand the dynamic of Danhausen. I understand where Miz right now is in his career is as an ambassador, as someone who kind of put talent over. I mean, he's even cooking right now with being the locker room leader.
Yes.
The man cooks.
Yes.
Who would have thought to be the locker room leader after John Cena? The Miz.
I thought The Miz should have definitely had a run or maybe had a match with John Cena when he was going on his retirement tour. I think that was very selfish that he did not get one. Like the creators really like left him out when it came down to his retirement tour. I just thought that was crazy that they did that. And he did and put it into a promo like, listen, I main evented with you for WrestleMania and I beat you at WrestleMania. So like I just thought we were going to see at least one hoorah between them two. But yeah, I think The Miz definitely needs like a great run on his retirement run because he put his blood, sweat, and tears into the business where people thought he was like another Jade if you think about it. People who saw him coming from reality TV to wrestling and thought he was a complete joke and was taking the business as a joke. Y'all kicked him out of the locker room for eating a piece of chicken. For him to like overcome all of those obstacles and to be successful as the way he is right now and has the baddest woman in the game, Maurice? No. Miz deserves all his flowers. Seriously.
Let me tell you something. I don't usually do these women because they all kind of look the same to me.
Yeah.
But that is one beautiful woman.
That woman's breathtaking. Like I don't think that Divas locker room was messing with her at all. And I know everybody was Bella Army. No shade to the Bella gang or Bella Army, but that woman right there was top tier.
I've never been Bella Army. I've always been Maurice. And right again, I don't do this a lot.
Yeah.
But that Liv Morgan, she is something else. She is.
Liv is cool. Yeah, Liv is definitely dope. I will say, when it comes to Maurice is funny. Like I watched that show. Maurice got a really funny personality. Her and the Miz are like one and the same. It's just she's more reserved and more classy, but she has that funny side. Like she can give it up like the Miz. They're like a perfect match. Yeah.
Yep. And we're gonna finish the 3-on-3 with this. Okay. Give me 3 of your favorite wrestling moments.
3 of my favorite wrestling moments. Okay, so it's gonna be tough. My first was 38 with Sasha Banks and Bianca main event. That match still goes down to history on the SP. That was a great moment. Another great moment was Evolution, Naomi cashing in and getting the world title. That was a great swerve. The next moment, I'm gonna say WrestleMania 40 when Cody finished his story. Yeah.
Can't stand no Cody Rhodes.
No, but like that moment, like I think that build was an amazing build. I gotta say that. So yeah.
Peak cinema.
Yes.
I mean, the writers were in their bags because you literally didn't know what was going to happen week to week.
Nope.
Even my son now, when we play wrestle, he'll do this. Look at you now. Look at you now. And I'm like, I get so happy. If there's one thing that you could change about WWE, what would it be?
One thing I would.
if you want to add on more than one, it's okay because I know there's so many things.
Yeah, the biggest thing I would want to change with WWE is having women of color in media. I would like to see a little bit more women in color in media. I think as far as like the wrestling, we are getting, more women of color into that sport, but I would like to see more analysts. I would like to see more media and hosts as far as in WWE black women. And I would like to see more black, women and men in creative as well.
I'm right there with you. That writing room needs to be younger.
Yes.
It also needs people of color because, of course, and it goes to the whole conversation about DEI. This writing room currently has one view, and that's how they viewed, their life, their experiences, what has worked for them in the past. But when you bring in new blood, when you bring in younger people, when you bring in new faces,
Yeah.
you're now getting a different experience. You're getting a different viewpoint. And there's so many small things. If we think back to, I remember at one point in time, Sami Zayn slapped Drew McIntyre and Drew just laughed it off.
Yeah.
If we're in that right room, we're like, you just slapped Drew McIntyre. Why Drew McIntyre ain't slap you back or punch you in the face or something? It's those small little details,
Yes.
the small little nuances that can improve a story. Not to mention that the storylines definitely need some assistance. And that's SmackDown and Raw.
It's like Raw's the better show, and then like SmackDown was doing so well up until these last 3 weeks. Up until Mania, it decided to be lackluster. And we didn't really talk a lot about NXT. I gotta give like NXT like their flowers because like they're still doing well, and AAA too. AAA is doing well too. But they're like more of the opposite brands and a developmental brand for the main roster brand to like kind of like not be on a level. It all stems for the writers because we have on AAA The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, NXT, because they eat, sleep, and breathe the business. They know what to do in this business. Where in the main roster, we got writers that don't know the business. Then we got wrestlers on the writers, in the writers' room that are getting countered every week. So, yeah, got to do better.
Gotta do better. I want to ask you this last question. Do we involve Triple H from creative based on what's been reported is that TKO controls the creative?
What was the question again?
Do we let Triple H off the hook since we have come to find out allegedly that TKO is over creative?
No, we don't, because before TKO took over, there was some things that he still could have did better in prior to TKO doing the massive takeover. There was a lot that I don't want to curse that Triple H could have got out of him, leave it at that. That I feel like, we can't let him off the hook. I'm going to throw an example. Austin Theory. When he came back, he shelved Austin Theory because, he was Vince boy and Vince was really about to take Austin to the top. He gave Austin a Mania match with John Cena. And it's crazy because, like, I thought Austin was about to be the next John Cena. I was like, oh, he's really, really good. Like, I really thought he was really about to be that guy. Then he came and Triple H really just, like, shelved him because he didn't see nothing in him. But it's like, if you didn't see nothing in him, why you didn't work with him? You took him off of TV for a whole year. And because you personally, I'm not going to say personally, but you just didn't see anything in him. I just think like it was a lot of talent that he kind of overlooked when he came on board and that he could have did better with. It's like he put the rocket on a lot of those talents back and then he dropped the ball too. He wasn't no different. So no, he's not off the hook. But I think now this is probably going to be a learning lesson for him to be able to look back and see what he could have done to make a difference in making the product better. So yeah, no, he's not off the hook.
I agree. Because at the end of the day, he still got a job. And granted, TKO may be over creative. They're not over the entire creative. Nope. They're looking at the main event picture. That's all they care about.
And
and
celebrities.
everything in celebrities, clearly. um, I want you to let the people know where they can find you, where they can keep up with you, and follow you on your journey.
Yeah, well, Chris, I thank you for having me on. This was fun talking about wrestling and being able to join you on your platform. But you guys can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Sylvia_Darlene, or you can search Sylvia the Siren on both platforms. Also, check me and my team out on YouTube, Beyond the Bell Podcast. You can also find us on Twitter too, as well, at Beyond the Bell Podcast. So yeah, make sure y'all follow, subscribe, and reach out. Hit me up for anything. I got y'all.
Absolutely. That's been Sylvia the Siren, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate y'all for locking in with me. I'm glad that you all got to know her a little bit more. She's more than just a wrestling fan, but she is a content creator. And for those content creators who watch this, I know it's not an easy space to just be in all the time, but just stay encouraged. Keep posting. You're one view away from your whole life changing. All you need is that one person to view it, who's going to share it, and that's going to change your life forever. So stay encouraged, keep posting, keep doing what you do. It is going to get tough, but that's when you got to keep pushing,
Absolutely.
and you'll get the win. So I am Chris Moore. Make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe, make sure you do all those things at Real Chris Moore anywhere. Google me. And we'll see you next time on More Insight. This is Insight You Can Trust, because there is more where it came from. I'll holla.